Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to Cloud Test Lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Okay, so I take a breakpoint on this 39th line, this order number, and then I'm going to run the script. Okay, so let me close this Excel sheet. Turn on it. So this is a syntax error. Oh, there are two next. Okay, so this one I have to remove. Okay. Okay, so it created that order and now it's waiting at that particular point 10 seconds and now it comes here. Say press F11 and now if you go and look at here the application, so where it generates the order number 30, right? So we need to capture this order number. So that's what this whole getArrow property is going to do. Whatever that runtime value is displayed in the application, it's going to capture that. Get runtime object property, and we are using the property text. That text property holds that current value. So even in the debugger, like we saw the same thing, right? So this whole thing is this one, the first line. So it's going to tell for that number currently displayed in the application. And we are assigning that number to this variable or the number. So that's for the second one. It says, say, this variable contains the value 30. So that's what it displays in the application, the order number. Okay. Whatever the value that generates dynamically at runtime, getArrow property is going to capture that value. This is very important method we use in each and every script. So after this, again, it's pointing to here the cursor in the debug mode, so press F11, and now it's moving to the next iteration. So what I do is I also keep a breakpoint because I don't want even okay. So I keep a breakpoint here and let it run. So okay, so this one, and let's run this. So now it's doing the second iteration. What's this general error? I don't see the application is open. That's why it's saying general error. Okay, let me remove these breakpoints and then let's keep the breakpoint here because we know like this thing is working. Just I keep the breakpoint because these are the things just I want to explain. That's why I keep the breakpoint here and then let me rerun the script. Oh, the problem is I think we might have entered wrong data actually in Excel sheet. You see, that's what actually the recovery scenario is triggered, and then your script is come out from the loop. Even if you look at the results right, there is a recovery scenario that triggered. You see, that's what actually happening. Because there is a warning. If you drill down to that warning, right, so it's going to say what's wrong. Okay, so that's a problem. The spelling mistake in the data. So that's why it's not executing the second row. Okay, so what we do is, so let's correct that test data. This is what actually happens in diagram also. Okay, so you have to look at like whether all your iterations executed and look at are there any warnings in your script and then go and fix those problems. Okay, so now let me correct this. In my test data there is something wrong. Reservation, so this is wrong. So it should be LYN. Okay, so let's save this and then all right. Let me close this results and now let's try to run once again. Okay, so this time it's working. The second iteration. And this is the third iteration. All right, so now if you look at here, let's see. Okay, so this line has to go actually inside the loop. Otherwise, like it's going to write only the last one. Okay, so that's a mistake what we did. So basically, like what we have to do is, because for each iteration you have to capture this and then write the order numbers. So this has to go inside the loop. Okay, so let me do that. Okay, so let me run the script. I keep a breakpoint here. Okay, so this is what actually happens. Each time it's going to create the orders and then it's going to input those order numbers in this, you see like it's going to output all those order numbers here. And then what this particular step says, this is what actually happens. If you see, you are capturing that order number, right? So this whole thing is going to capture the order number and it stores into this variable. This variable contains the order number. And then what you're doing here is you created in your Excel sheet, like even if you look at the Excel sheet, you created a order number, right? The column. So your script is trying to write whatever that order number that was stored here, and you are writing that order number into this column, right? So that's what data table order number is this column, and D2 reservation is the sheet name. Okay, D2 reservation is the sheet name. So what happens is this way, we are going to whatever the value that you're getting into this order number, you are assigning back to the data sheet column. Okay, so that way it's going to write all the order numbers for that customers from the cities. So once it is done, then again you are going to write it back to the Excel sheet. So that's what this particular export data again back to the Excel sheet. Once you execute this step, this data, whatever the things that it wrote here, is going to export back this whole sheet into the Excel. Okay, this data table is going to export back into the Excel, this particular line. So if you press say F5 now, oh sorry, it's opened. Okay. So now, if you go and look at your Excel sheet, so that you see the detailed reservation sheet is exported, and then you see for all those customers, what are the orders it is created, your script. So this way you can keep them as a reference tomorrow. The moment you go to the office, then you can also look at, okay, what are the orders created for these particular customers. You can randomly check them, right? Say whether your script is working properly or not. You can randomly check them. So you open the application manually and then randomly check whether it's created properly or not. So this way, you open the application and then log in, and then go and check. Say you can verify that. Say file open order, and then so you can open either by order number or by customer name, right? So here you can input say customer 3, right? Say you can search this number is not working. That's so strange. Here it's not allowing me to enter the customer 3. That's a bug in the application. Okay, anyway, like you can go either by, let's go with customer order number. Say order number is 38. So that we are going to cross check whether, doesn't take this, 37. Okay, so this we are going to check whether this particular order is created for this customer and whether it's a front code and then that kind of stuff. We are going to verify all this. Okay. So this way you're going to cross check whether the order is created properly or not by the script. Okay. So this is basically like for your future reference. You can export back into the Excel the data. Okay, basically like there are simple 2 lines. One thing is this one is very important. The get arrow property, how you can capture the runtime values, and then you're going to store that into this variable, and then again, so you're going to write all those order numbers back to the data table, and then you're going to export that sheet into the Excel. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Is this clear? Yes, it's in recording. All right. So, when like you're saying I tried it out and it works, what is that?
Yeah, that's the one, the program that you're running, the same thing. I corrected a couple of the corrections that you made. I created a similar one and then I tried and then I was able to write it to the
Export Excel sheet.
export. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys, any questions here? How to export back the data into the Excel sheet? Can we get customer name by this? What do you? Yeah. So what are the things like? Okay, you can try it out. So you're asking about getting the customer name. Yeah. So you can capture that. But basically, like that customer name anyway, it's there in your Excel sheet, right? So why you have to capture this customer name? Instead of that, you can capture some other value like flight number. Okay. Your customer name is already there in your Excel sheet. Why again you have to capture that? Okay. So instead you can capture any of these values. Right now we are capturing order number. So if you want to capture the flight number for this particular customer or for the departure time, departure arrival time, you can capture any of these values using get algo property. Okay. Yeah, just those are the assignments. You can try it out. That way now just you feel more comfort to use this get algo property. That is a very useful thing in real-time projects. And definitely ask the question in the interview. What is get arrow property? Okay.
See, what is the difference between this and then the output value?
Output value is basically like a hard-coded thing. We don't use much of those hard-coded part in the scripts. Okay, that's basically like the recording part.
Okay.
Yeah, and that will like output values, you have to do a lot of stuff, right? So you have to put the recording and then you have to insert output value and all the stuff. Instead of doing that, you can going to use just get our property.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions here before we move on to the database checkpoint?
Yeah, can you tell any other example for any other scenario? So exactly where we use
Which one?
get our property.
Anywhere, like whatever the value you want to capture, you can use the get arrow property, the runtime data, whatever the data. So in this case, like we are capturing this order number, so you can also use the same thing for different, say, you want, like as I mentioned right before, you can capture the flight numbers, you can capture the arrival time, you can capture anything, whatever the data it produced dynamically.
Okay. Means if you want to verify anything means so we can use get our property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like it's like output value, I think.
Okay. Clear? Any questions from anybody before we move on to the database checkpoints? Okay, so that's fine. So let's move on to the database checkpoints. It's not to export. It's basically get arrow property useful to capture the runtime value. Whether you want to export into the Excel sheet or you want to keep it here, there is no relation between the export and get arrow property. Get arrow property is to capture the runtime value. Export is to export the data into Excel sheet. Okay, so obviously, once you capture any data, if you want to store, then you are going to export, right? However, see, if you want to use in the same script, if you want to use in the same script, then you need not export that data, right? So you can use it within the script itself. So this is the one. Basically, like here you are going to store that order number into this variable. You can use that variable in later part of the script wherever you need that particular order number. If you want to export that order number back into the Excel sheet, then this is export. So it's not always because you are capturing this order number, you need not export. Okay, there is no relation. But most of the time, whenever just we capture, we try to store it. Okay. Okay. So you want to try it out, because this concept is important. Like get our property. Can you capture that flight number? Okay. Can you please create the script, try it out, and then let me know if you have any questions. So the value of catching is, say, for example, here you are trying to capture the order number. In later part of the script, you want to modify that particular order, right? So that time you can use this. Okay. So you are trying to capture that order number, and in later part of the script, you want to modify that order. That time you can use this order number. Okay, so try it out and let me know if you have any questions. Either you can capture the order number or you can capture the flight number, whatever it is. So basically create object and then do this lines. These are the 3 lines.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.